Hi guys, I'm sorry I can't be with you tonight at the OGX dinner, and it's about Brazil of all things, but tonight is my last night. I depart Vienna tomorrow morning and I still have got a lot of packing to do, so I'm so sorry. But the compromise I made with Maxi was that I'd make you guys a video telling you a bit about what life is like in Brazil. So I think by now you must have already had the presentation from Suzy about factual things about Brazil. And now I'm supposed to give you guys the cultural presentation. So I always start by saying this. In Brazil, nobody is typically Brazilian, and yet everybody is. What we say is like nobody really comes from Brazil except when you're from Indian origin. And by Indian I mean not the people from India, I mean the Native Americans, the native peoples who used to live there before the Portuguese came in the 16th century. So everybody who's there and is not of Indian descent is a foreigner, so to say. They may be the 12th generation of a foreigner, but they still are. And that makes it a unique setting for Brazil to be this place where everybody is integrated. This was one thing that I thought was very different when I moved to Austria, because there we don't have that. You might be Japanese, you have the Japanese together with the Turkish, together with the German, together with the Polish, together with the Russian, everybody's together. And nobody says, oh, I'm Turkish, oh, I'm Russian, I'm Japanese. Everybody says I'm Brazilian. And it's actually quite difficult to have second generations of children of immigrants that speak their parents' language. I know several cases in which they don't. Third generation is almost given that they won't speak it. So it's very, very different and makes it a very unique place. We do not have discrimination based on ethnicity, based on where you come from. And this is something that really struck me when I came here in Austria, because it's different. We do, however, as no society is perfect, our discrimination comes in form of social classes, so to say. It is not as fixed as it is in India. Like, you have a social class to which you were born into and you can never go to another one, but it's more about the whole money thing. Who has money, who doesn't? I'm not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying anything about it, it's just the way it is. And so if you have money, you go to certain places, you do certain things. If you don't have money, you do other things. It's just, I don't want to make it sound bad, and I know it does sound bad, but it's just different. And so it's like you go to the places and you know that you're going to meet people who are from the same social level as you are. You're not going to find people from other social levels. If you go to a specific place where people from other social levels go to, like malls. Malls are a very good explanation. Brazilians, what they most do in their free time, at least in my city, in São Paulo, is go to the mall. We have a few parks, but bear in mind, we are 11 million people. So they are nowhere near enough to all of us, and we do not have this tradition of going to parks. So what do? On weekends, holidays, and vacations? We go to the shopping mall. And the shopping malls, we have like 50 or 60 in the city. It's amazing. And they're not like the concept here in Austria. They are huge and like, it's different. And you have the fancy malls, the somewhat fancy malls, the more malls for poor people, and everything is different. The movie theaters, the stores, the places you have for food, everything is different. It is not by all means that you cannot go to others, but you know, it just shows that there is this difference in society. And that brings about the whole issue of violence. Every news report we get from Brazil abroad is either about violence or carnival and naked people. By the way, something about the naked people. Carnival is the only time of the year when it's allowed to and not frowned upon to go around naked. We don't even go topless to the beach. It's actually a crime if you go topless to the beach. So we are a very, very conservative society in this aspect. And Carnival is the only time of the year, it's those 5 days that you're allowed to do everything and anything you want to do. So it's kind of like, it's something you have to see it to believe it. Like, everybody just goes crazy, drinks far too much, and does a lot of things they wish they could forget the next week. So yeah, it's something that you should really try and experience while you're there. So going back to the thing about violence, you might have seen these past few days that there was this, there's this war going on in Rio. I cannot tell you what it's like to live in a city like that, to live in the middle of this war, because in my city we don't have that. We do have slums, or favelas as they call it, but our drug trafficking is not, it's centralized. We're more organized as in this bad subject. It's kind of like we only have one group of drug dealers, so we don't have a war. The problem there in Rio is that they have several groups of dealers trying to fight for control of the places where they're going to distribute the drugs, so then you have a war. So I cannot say what it's like to live there, but the thing in Brazil is that you're always afraid that something might happen. I lived there my whole life until last year. That's 22 years, and nothing's ever happened to me. My brother was mugged once. My dad got mugged in traffic once as well. But as far as the reports go, this is nothing, you know? But you always have this fear of something may happen to you. If, for instance, you go out at night and you don't come back, the police is going to be after you because your mom thinks something happened to you. It's not like, oh, they're at a friend's and that's it. My mom literally has trouble sleeping until I get back home at night. And it's extremely dangerous to be driving around at night, especially when you're a girl and you're a girl alone in a car. And it's always like this, that you always cross the red lights in the crossings, in the crossroads. So you cannot stop, because if you stop, it's very dangerous. Again, it's not 100% sure that something will happen, but it might. So I think the worst thing about violence in Brazil is this fear that we're always constantly under. There is never a time when you're not watching your back to see if someone is going to try and steal your purse, you know? So that is a bit, it's just, I don't want to disencourage you guys to go because of this. It's like I said, nothing's ever happened to me, but you have to watch your back. For instance, you cannot walk around with a lot of money in your wallet, and you cannot open your wallet with all that money in front of other people. You never know who is watching, you know? It's just about watching out and taking care of what you're doing and how you're doing it, and making sure that you're safe. Then you'll be safe and you'll be fine, and it's absolutely not a problem to go there. I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression. Please feel free to approach me if you are afraid of going there because of the violence, because it's not a reason not to go, by all means. Like I said, nothing's ever happened to me, so, you know, you just have to have a little faith. One good thing, another good thing about Brazil is that everybody there is always happy. They're always happy, they're always smiling, and they're always going to be there for you and try to help you. So it doesn't matter where you're from, what language you speak. They may not speak a word, they will most likely not speak a word of German, and also most likely not speak a word of English, but they will always be willing to help you through mimics or whatever it is. This is one thing of us. We are always very kind, and we're always willing to help others, whomever they may be. So you can rest assured that whatever you need there will be several people, Isaacers or not, who will be trying to help you. So this is very important when you go to a different country and you have this support net who's going to help you in your time there. So I think this is a very good thing about us. Another thing is that whenever you talk about Brazil, people just think about, oh, the beaches, and the beaches are so cool. Yes, we do have a lot of beaches, and yes, they're very cool, but we also have cool mountains. We have cool ravines. We have cool places that you can go hiking and climbing down the mountain. Well, you can't really climb down the mountain. I don't know what that's called in English. I'm sorry. But when you come down the mountain, you can do